My name is Drake Torrin, and I should have known something was wrong when my wife started caring about her boss's birthday. Zara never remembered my birthday without 3 phone reminders, yet here she was at midnight, hunched over her laptop like some kind of party-planning maniac, muttering about Colin's special day tomorrow. "Going to be amazing," she whispered to herself, fingers flying across the keyboard. "Colin deserves the best." I pretended to sleep, watching her through half-closed eyes. 34 years old, still beautiful, still the woman I married 6 years ago. But something had changed these past few months. Late nights at the office, weekend strategy meetings, new clothes that never made it home in shopping bags. After she finally crashed, I grabbed her laptop. The browser history told an interesting story. 3 searches for romantic birthday ideas, 2 for best hotels downtown, and 1 that made my stomach twist. How to know if you're ready to leave your marriage. But the real kicker? Colin's Facebook page, still open in another tab. His actual birthday wasn't until January. It was April 15th. I screenshot everything, my hands surprisingly steady. 20 years as an electrician before switching to IT support taught me to document problems before fixing them. This felt like the biggest electrical fire of my life. Morning came too soon. Zara bounced around the kitchen like a teenager, humming while she made coffee. She'd picked out her best dress, the red one I bought her for our anniversary. "Big day today," she announced, not meeting my eyes. "Colin's birthday, right?" I kept my voice casual. She froze for just a second. "Yes, the whole team's celebrating." "Funny thing about birthdays," I said, sipping my coffee. "They usually happen on the same date every year." "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing. Just thinking out loud." She grabbed her purse and headed for the door. "Don't wait up. These work things run late." After her car disappeared down the street, I called in sick and drove to the office. Our company, Meridian Solutions, occupied 3 floors of a gleaming downtown tower. I'd been their IT guy for 2 years, invisible to most people but friendly with the security staff. "Morning, Big Joe," I said to the guard at the front desk. Joe Martinez looked up from his newspaper, grinning. "Drake, thought you were home with the flu." "Feeling better?" "Hey, you mind if I check something on the visitor logs? Zara thinks she left her badge here last week." Joe waved me around the desk. "Help yourself, buddy." The digital logs painted a clear picture. 3 nights this month, Zara and Colin had badged out together at exactly the same time, 11:47 p.m., 11:52 p.m., and 12:03 a.m. Their cars had left the parking garage within minutes of each other. I printed the reports and headed upstairs to Colin's floor. The executive level reeked of expensive cologne and ambition. Through the glass walls of the corner office, I could see Colin Hurst on a phone call, gesturing wildly with his free hand. 42 years old, Harvard MBA, the kind of guy who wore $1,000 suits and treated service workers like furniture. But Colin wasn't the real power here. That belonged to his wife. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Vivian Hurst, CEO of Meridian Solutions, had built this company from nothing. She was brilliant, ruthless, and according to office gossip, had been questioning her marriage for months. If Colin was stepping out, she'd want to know. I found her email address in the company directory and sent a simple message. "Mrs. Hurst, I have information about your husband that you need to see. Can we meet today? Drake Torrin, IT support." Her reply came back in under 5 minutes. "Parking garage, level B2, 3 p.m., come alone." The parking garage felt like a concrete tomb, all shadows and echoing footsteps. Vivian's black Mercedes sat in the corner spot marked CEO only, and she leaned against it like she owned the world, which, technically, she did. "Mr. Torrin." Her voice could cut glass. This better be good. I handed her the folder I'd prepared. Screenshots, visitor logs, credit card statements I'd pulled from the company system using my admin access. Everything laid out in chronological order. She flipped through the pages, her expression never changing. But her knuckles went white where she gripped the folder. "How long have you suspected?" she asked finally. "About a week. My wife's been acting strange, and Colin's fake birthday party tonight was the final piece." "Fake birthday?" "His real birthday is January 12th, I checked." For the first time, Vivian smiled. It wasn't a pleasant expression. Colin always was terrible with details. "What do you want from me?" "Justice. They both betrayed people who trusted them. They should face consequences." "And what makes you think I won't just fire you for snooping?" I shrugged. "Because you're smart enough to know I'm not your enemy here." She studied me for a long moment, then nodded. "Meet me in my office in 1 hour, and Mr. Torrin, bring your laptop." Back home, I paced the living room like a caged animal. Part of me wondered if I was making a huge mistake. But every time I looked at our wedding photo on the mantel, the anger flared again. Zara had promised to love and honor me. Instead, she was playing dress-up for another man's fake birthday. My phone buzzed with a text from her. "Party's going great. Don't wait up. XOXO." I screenshot that too. Vivian's office occupied the entire top floor, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. She'd changed into a black power suit that made her look like an avenging angel. "Show me everything," she said. I connected my laptop to her massive wall monitor and walked her through the evidence. Bank records showing charges at the Skyline Motel, security footage from the parking garage showing Colin and Zara leaving together. Even social media posts where Zara had tagged herself at restaurants on nights she'd told me she was working late. "The Skyline Motel," Vivian repeated. "Classy. Your husband has expensive taste in suits, cheap taste in affair venues." She actually laughed at that. Colin always was a contradiction, brilliant at marketing, hopeless at everything else. She turned to face me. "I want them both gone from this company. Can you help me make that happen?" "What did you have in mind?" "Tomorrow morning, I'm calling an emergency board meeting. Harassment in the workplace, misuse of company resources, violation of ethics policies. By noon, they'll both be cleaning out their desks." "And tonight?" Her smile returned, sharp as a blade. "Tonight, we crash their little party." The Skyline Motel sat on the wrong side of downtown, the kind of place that rented rooms by the hour and didn't ask questions. Vivian and I sat in her Mercedes across the street, watching the entrance like cops on a stakeout. "There," she said, pointing at a familiar blue Honda. "Zara's car." My chest tightened. Seeing the evidence was one thing. Watching it happen in real time was something else entirely. Colin's silver BMW pulled up 10 minutes later. Through the windshield, I could see him checking his hair in the rearview mirror before getting out. He walked to the motel office with the confidence of a man who thought he was untouchable. "Room 237, Vivian said, watching through binoculars. "Same room they used last week." We waited another hour, letting them get comfortable. Then Vivian made her move. "Colin?" Her voice carried clearly across the parking lot as she knocked on the door. "Colin, I know you're in there." The door opened a crack, and Colin's face appeared, flushed and panicked. "Vivian, what are you doing here?" "Looking for my husband. May I come in?" She pushed past him before he could answer. I followed, my heart hammering against my ribs. The room was exactly what you'd expect from a cheap motel. Stained carpet, flickering fluorescent lights, and the smell of industrial disinfectant trying to mask years of questionable activities. Zara sat on the edge of the bed, still wearing that red dress, her face pale as paper. "Drake?" Her voice came out as a whisper. "How did you find you? Wasn't hard. You're not as clever as you think." Colin tried to regain control of the situation. Now look, everyone just needs to calm down. We can explain everything. Please do, Vivian said, settling into the room's single chair like she was holding court. I'm fascinated to hear how you explain using company credit cards to rent motel rooms. Company credit cards? Zara looked confused. Oh, yes, I said, pulling out my phone. Colin's been billing your little dates as client entertainment. 3 times this month, $200 each time. Colin's face went from red to white. That's not... we were discussing business? What business? Vivian's voice could have frozen lava. Zara works in HR. You're in marketing. What possible business could you have that requires a motel room? The silence stretched out like a taut wire. Finally, Zara started crying. I'm sorry, she sobbed. I never meant for this to happen. It just did. Things don't just happen, Zara, I said. People make choices. You chose this. Colin tried to put his arm around her, but she shrugged him off. Don't touch me. This is all your fault. You said you were going to leave your wife. I am, Colin protested. I just need more time to figure out the finances. Vivian stood up slowly. Well, that just became much simpler. You're fired, Colin. Effective immediately. You can't do that. I own 60% of this company. I can do whatever I want. She turned to Zara. You're fired too. Security will escort you both out tomorrow morning. Wait, Zara scrambled to her feet. Please, Mrs. Hurst, I need this job. Drake doesn't make enough to support us both. You should have thought about that before you decided to cheat on him with my husband. I felt a strange sense of satisfaction watching them both squirm. These 2 people had betrayed their spouses, violated company policy, and thought they were smart enough to get away with it. Now, reality was crashing down around them like a house of cards. Pack your things, Vivian told Colin. I want you out of my house by tomorrow night. Viv, please, we can work this out. The only thing we're working out is our divorce settlement, and thanks to this little performance, I don't think you'll be getting much. She headed for the door, then paused. Oh, and Colin, happy birthday. Hope it was everything you dreamed of. The next morning felt like the first day of a new life. I woke up alone in our bed, sunlight streaming through windows that suddenly seemed brighter. Zara had come home around midnight, crying and begging, but I'd already moved her things to the guest room and changed the locks on the bedroom door. She was gone when I got up, probably trying to salvage her career before the axe fell. Good luck with that. My phone had 17 missed calls from Colin. I deleted them all without listening. At 9 a.m. sharp, I walked into Meridian Solutions like I owned the place. Big Joe gave me a knowing nod from the security desk. Heard there's some excitement happening today, he said. Just another day at the office, Joe. The elevator ride to the executive floor felt like ascending to witness divine justice. Through the glass walls of the conference room, I could see Vivian addressing the board of directors, her presentation displayed on the massive screen behind her. Colin and Zara sat at the far end of the table, both looking like they'd been hit by a truck. Colin kept loosening his tie and wiping sweat from his forehead. Zara stared at her hands. Mascara streaked down her cheeks. Clear violation of company policy, Vivian was saying as I walked past. The evidence is overwhelming. I didn't need to hear the rest. I'd helped compile that evidence after all. Instead, I went to my desk and waited. The IT department was on the 3rd floor, far enough from the executive drama, but close enough to feel the tremors when the hammer fell. At 10:47 a.m., my computer pinged with an email from HR. Colin Hurst and Zara Torrin have been terminated for gross misconduct. Please revoke all system access immediately. I took my time with Colin's account, savoring each click as I disabled his email, locked his computer, and revoked his building access. For Zara, I added an extra touch, a forwarded copy of every company policy she'd violated, sent to her personal email with a note. Thought you might want to review these for your next job interview. 20 minutes later, I watched from my window as security escorted them both to the parking garage. Colin carried a single cardboard box, his expensive suit wrinkled and his hair disheveled. Zara clutched her purse like a lifeline, her red dress from yesterday replaced with a conservative black outfit that screamed desperation. They stood by their cars for a moment, having what looked like a heated argument. Then Colin threw his box into his BMW and peeled out of the garage, leaving Zara standing alone under the fluorescent lights. She looked up at the building, scanning the windows like she was searching for something. When her eyes found mine, I gave her a small wave. She flipped me off and drove away. My phone rang 5 minutes later. "Drake, please, we need to talk." Zara's voice was thick with tears. "I don't think we do. This is all a misunderstanding. Colin told me he was separated from his wife. I never would have. Zara, I saw the credit card statements, the hotel receipts, the text messages. You've been planning this for months." Silence on the other end then. "What do you want from me?" "Nothing. I want nothing from you at all." "So that's it? 6 years of marriage and you're just throwing it away?" I almost laughed. "I'm not throwing anything away. You already did that. I'll fight you on this, Drake. The house, the cars, everything. I'll take you for every penny you have." "Good luck with that. Adultery is still grounds for divorce in this state, and I have enough evidence to bury you." The line went quiet for so long I thought she'd hung up. Finally, she whispered, "I loved you once." "I know," I said. "That's what makes this so much worse." This time, she did hang up. 3 days later, Vivian called me into her office. She looked different somehow, lighter, like she'd been carrying a weight that had finally been lifted. "I wanted to thank you," she said, gesturing for me to sit. "What you did took courage." I just told the truth. The truth is often the most dangerous thing of all. She leaned back in her chair. "Colin's lawyer called this morning. He's asking for spousal support. That's bold, considering the circumstances." That's what I told him, along with a few other choice words. She smiled. "I'm curious, Mr. Torrin. What are your plans now?" I shrugged. "Keep working, I guess. Start over." "What if I told you there might be other opportunities? The head of IT position is opening up next month. Better pay, better benefits, your own office." I stared at her. "Are you offering me a job?" "I'm offering you a chance to prove you deserve it. Interested?" "Very." She slid a folder across the desk. "Salary information, job description, everything you need to know. Think about it over the weekend." I flipped through the pages, hardly believing what I was seeing. The salary was almost double what I made now, with stock options and a company car. It was more money than Zara and I had ever dreamed of making together. "There is one condition," Vivian said. "What's that?" "No more married couples working in the same department. Company policy." I laughed, the first genuine laugh I'd had in weeks. "I don't think that'll be a problem." That evening, I sat in my kitchen with a beer and the divorce papers my lawyer had drawn up. The house felt bigger somehow, like removing Zara's presence had opened up space I didn't know existed. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "This isn't over. See." Colin, apparently, wasn't going quietly into the night. I forwarded the message to Vivian with a note. "Might want to add harassment to the restraining order." Her response came back immediately. "Already done. Security has his photo. He comes within 100 yards of the building, they'll call the police." I raised my beer in a toast to the empty house. Here's to new beginnings. Outside, spring rain tapped against the windows like applause. Tomorrow, I'd start my new job, my new life, my new everything. Tonight, I was content to sit in the silence and remember what it felt like to win. The doorbell rang at exactly 9 o'clock. Through the peephole, I could see Zara standing on the porch, soaked from the rain, holding what looked like a suitcase. "Drake, please," she called through the door. "I have nowhere else to go." I turned off the porch light and walked back to the kitchen. Some conversations weren't worth having. Some bridges, once burned, should stay that way. My phone rang one last time. Vivian's name appeared on the screen. "Everything all right?" she asked. "Perfect," I said, watching Zara's shadow disappear from the porch. "Everything's absolutely perfect." And for the first time in months, I actually meant it.